On the 21st of June 2007, the Howard government announced a national emergency in the Northern Territory in response to the Anderson and Wild inquiry into child sexual abuse, resulting in the Little Children Are Sacred report. 5 bills were introduced which had a major impact on Indigenous communities in the Territory. This film captures some of the concerns raised during the rally.
Our organisation is at the forefront of the NT intervention and have major concerns over mismanagement of the intervention with their lack of consultation and long-term sustainable planning, the inherent discrimination in the intervention legislation and policies, and the unforeseen consequences of this discrimination. To the best of our knowledge, there are no new reported cases of child sexual abuse, nor have any new changes been laid.
Some of these things have been going on for a long, long time. Up here, dispossession, 1788. Murders, rapes, genocide. It's been going on for 200 years. Australia, a country built on lies. So I, as a Gringy man, and as a human being, find the constitution of this country invalid. Everything about it is wrong. The wealth of this country is on the back of blacks, their land, their water, their resources, everything. It still belongs and still does. Until the truth is told to the children and grandchildren, yours and the futures to come, about the history of this country. It's time that we stood up as one people. But all of this is nothing but racism against the Indigenous peoples of the Northern Territory.
What I would like to see happen is a royal commission into all the funds that have come into the Northern Territory by the federal government to the Northern Territory government with services and service deliveries to remote communities in health, housing, education and employment for the last 30 years.
When this started, people from some certain communities were taking their kids away because they thought they was going back to the old days where the white people was coming in to take the kids away.
I'm talking here from the bottom of my heart, and it's affecting my people. I don't care if you're a tourist, if you're a politician, unionist, whatever. It's really hurting the pockets and the lives of the Yolngu people in Northern Territory. We want to try and get a strong voice, Yolngu, Indigenous and non-Indigenous, to say to the stubborn government who can't hear, to make up their mind and chuck this intervention out the door.
The best way to fight against this evil intervention is to open up a dialogue, face to face, sitting down and challenge. Challenge, why? Because this is, if we start to have a dialogue between people, we can break down this conflict. What we need to be doing now, the leaders to get together, to fight. And who are those leaders? I tell you now, it is our born leaders. It's not leaders that the government has created. You're my leader. You got to speak for us. Born leaders that comes from the traditional law. We need to train our young people, educate our young people to become a business people, run our own life. I have a spirituality. This is my land. I am the First Nation. I still have my sovereignty. So what I'm really saying to us, get rid of intervention. Get rid of it. That's the message.
How they did this intervention is bottom line a breach of human rights and the United Nations rights of every child in the world. We Aboriginal people are the sovereign custodians of this country. We remain under the control of a Commonwealth government that is so totally illegal and racist. I can't believe the globe is sitting back and watching my people be desecrated by an inhuman government. The National Indigenous Human Rights Congress Australia are pulling in the First Nations Aboriginal Land Council. Our councils have failed us. Our land councils are shaking hands with the government, mining companies, any other bastard that wants to do business on our land. They are negotiating us.
One thing I will say about the intervention, I think it's alerted the community to the reality that what's needed is long-term reform. To implement what I think the intervention should turn into, and that is long-term infrastructure enhancement, long-term placements so that trust can be built, so that policy can be implemented, so that education can be implemented, long-term funding in partnership with local people. One problem with Indigenous policy for 30 years has been that policy is imposed from afar, there's no consultation with local people, and the needs of different geographical regions are varied. So you need to come up with a local solution through consultation with local people. I think that the intervention should be abandoned immediately. I think it should be abandoned, and I think that the legislation that has been enacted to enable the intervention should be repealed.